Hello, thanks for joining me for another episode of 177 Nations of Tasmania. Paraguay is perhaps one of the lesser known of the South American nations. Landlocked between larger neighbours, it can be easily overlooked, but it's also home to rich indigenous traditions and culture of its own. Now, my guest for this episode, Patricia, grew up in the capital of Paraguay, Asuncion, but due to a change in family circumstances, she moved to Chile when she was only 11. Although neighbouring countries, there were aspects of the Chilean culture that were quite different. While there, Patricia and her sister found some enterprising ways to support themselves, such as making and selling ice cream, amongst other things. It was also in Chile where she would later meet her future Australian husband and eventually move to Australia. They started living in Canberra, then on a visit to Tasmania to see her parents-in-law, Patricia became captivated with the island and eventually persuaded her husband to move to Hobart, where she currently runs a food truck business selling South American empanadas.
Hello everyone, I'm Patricia and I come from Paraguay. This is a small little country located in the heart of South America, near Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay and Bolivia. So we got all these beautiful countries around us. We are very small, we speak Spanish and Guarani as a language, recognized as a language, not like a dialect or just an indigenous one, because more than the 70% of the population speak the idiom, the indigenous idiom.
And can you maybe explain a little bit of where Guarani comes from and where it's spoken in South America?
Guarani is one of the language of the indigenous people, but they are tribes. So still other 14 or 15 tribes that speak different type of indigenous, but this is the official one. We live we got a little bit of selva, like jungle, and we have this natural way to speak this idiom, yes.
And so is it just commonly spoken on the streets and around the place? I mean, if you go to Paraguay, will you hear a lot of Guarani as well as Spanish?
Yeah, if you learn, for example, if you learn Spanish to go to Paraguay, you will be very in trouble because and people speak both. For example, I'm talking to you and I say, hello, how are you? Hello, bye, chapa. How are you, bye, chapa? You have learned by Duolingo maybe, ¿cómo estás? Mm-hmm. And everyone, yes, is speaking both, which is very hard for people, even for Latinos to understand when we speak. But it's beautiful and it's romantic and it's kind of singing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a singing.
So do people sort of combine the two languages when they're speaking?
Yes, and the news and the radio, like in this interview, probably everyone will be doing this, speaking both, that everyone can understand. I recently read an article that I didn't know because I was a child, that when we got the dictator, Guarani was, the language was, anyone could speak Guarani because it was a like very low class idiom. So the dictator at that time didn't want us to speak our language. But the speak was resilient, and the Guaranis and the indigenous was keep teaching in the school, hiding from the dictator, and it survived. And nowadays, yes, we can say, yeah, we can speak Guarani. Like I would say, we it's too much to cover because, as I say, I left Paraguay when I was 10. Then living in Chile, I couldn't speak anymore. But as soon as I go back home, I can speak back.
Soy un vagabundo.
So tell me about your childhood in Paraguay. What are your strongest memories from that time?
I can tell you was a very friendly girl, very wild. I'm a wild girl. I'm like savage. I never wear shoes. I was loving being without shirt, but slowly growing, I couldn't live without shirt anymore. I needed to put clothes on. I was loving climbing trees, mango trees, to take the most juicy and yellow and sweet mango from the very top of the tree, which was very big. You know how big they are, mango tree? They are huge. So I was loving sitting down there and some time relaxing, and I have some insect passing for my body, and it was my toys. I didn't have much toys. I didn't have much what to play with. So I was playing with insects or ants or kind of flowers and bees. These were my toys. Yes.
And did you live more in like a country area or city?
I was living in Asuncion, and it's the city, but for being a city, it was very rural at that time. So we didn't have like power after 5 p.m. We didn't have power. So the reason we always did all early, woke up 5 a.m., light the fire on. This is a beautiful part, also the memories with my grandma and my mom. And we were, at that time, 5 sisters. My mom was a single mom because my dad left when I was 1. So she was a hard worker. And the meantime, for the same reason, we must learn how to cook and how to do all the homework by ourselves. We were all useful in the house. No one was just playing and sleeping. No, we all got responsibilities to do. And one of them, for me, was cooking, because I spent more time around my mom before I went to school. Actually, I remember I went to school when I was 7, which was quite late for my age. And all this time before I went to school, I was learning how to cook. Mm-hmm. And the traditional food from my country, because we got a heritage gastronomy from generations. So my granny's mom, my granny to my mom to me, and I don't have child, but I teach to all my nephews how to cook, and I've been doing cooking class for them as well, that they can know. I don't have kids yet, but yeah, for sure my kids will be very good for eating and cooking, like me.
And so can you explain what sort of things were passed down in your family in terms of cooking?
The traditional way to cook, when we grew up, we didn't have kitchen. So we have a fire stove outside? No, inside the house. Mm-hmm. You got our home. We got a little bit open, little windows open, and we used to cook there with the wooden stove. And we did like the fire on, and the first thing we did in the morning was our mate. This is a very social drink we got in South America based on herbs from a tree. It's a tree. And you pour this in a cup with a... What is it? Bombilla, I don't know the name.
It's like a straw, isn't it? But not quite
yes,
the same.
But the straw had a colander in the bottom, so you don't drink the herbs. And it's a filter to not drink all the leaves. And tastes like green tea, but it's not green tea, it's mate. And then we share this with also our neighbors. Argentinians love mate. It's also very, very traditional. And Paraguayan, we like to put herbs, wild herbs, like the one only people who work on it, they knew which one you are going to drink. And my granny was an herbalist. He was a single mom as well, with 13 children.
Wow.
And she got a house. She bought a house just from selling these herbs. And she never moved from her place until she died.
So did your family all live quite close?
All very close.
Yeah.
All my aunties, my uncle, my godfathers. The street, we know all each other. When I come back, it's still the same people.
Okay.
Same people in the same house. And my generation people, they're also all married, but they live around as well. Yeah. When I come back, it's like never happened.
So there must have been a real sense of community in the neighbourhood.
It's all about community and sharing. Between my family and friends, we were like 40 kids in the street playing without shoes, 40 degrees. Sometimes was raining, and we were so excited, waiting for the rain to run away and feel the rain in our bodies, and then go and make like a schnitzel with the sun. We didn't have TV. If you got a neighbor who was very like worthy, they got TV and they will share the TV with everyone. So it was 1 hour a day, no, 1 hour in the week that you could see your favorite program as a kid. So they put the TV outside and everyone was taking the chair to sit there and then so excited looking at the TV show we wanted to see. And then other beautiful moment I remember is I love chipas. So chipas is the bread, the national bread from Paraguay. Chipa in Guarani means bread, but our bread is based off and cassava, a mix of them because it's what we had and we produce. And it's like the potatoes here. We eat all with those two products, corn and cassava. And this woman, beautiful, long neck, wearing a bucket in the head, walking with the head, not holding it, like modeling, but full of chipas on the top. Every chipa was like 100 grams. They got like 50, I don't know. It was incredible. Actually, nowadays, it's still the national dance with the bottle on the top. So these women that dance with 3 glass bottle on the top of the head without falling them, without dropping them.
Soy un vagabundo.
You buy what you need in the morning only. You buy your daily need. I never used to have a pantry like here. Pantry was not an option. You went and buy what you were going to eat every day in the shop. Fresh bread, fresh beef. And actually, you didn't want to buy the beef. The beef and the milk and the cheese and the bread, they were selling door by door every day by someone.
Okay.
Yes, someone carrying the milk, someone carrying the beef with ice. In the morning, the butcher will like cut all the cow and you will eat what they are selling. And they call la chura in Guarani, la chura. This is like means piece of cows and part of you eat everything. Yeah. When I say everything, if you sacrifice the animal, you need to eat everything.
So you would have got all your food was pretty much fresh then.
All fresh because we did not have refrigeration. So we could not save everything. So in the morning, very early, past the meal, you are waiting for them, you eat, and then you do your activities. And the reason is because someone needed to be home. Most of the time was the wife, the mom, who was cooking for the hard worker husband or, the guys, the men. And it's still very same nowadays. Okay. I know my friend of my age, they married and they are like home wife, and they cook and look after the kid while their husband works in 2023.
So it's still kind of traditional.
Yes, looking after our man is important. Spoil them, looking after them, because we also are thankful that they provide the thing for us in the house, and they work for us, and then we can look after our kids or our home that look nice. And
so in the neighbourhood where you were growing up, did people mainly live from? Like what kind of work?
Yes, the neighbor on the right of my home, he was selling, for example, charcoal for the stove, like for the firewood stove. And the other was selling ice. The one who got fridge sell ice or drinks, like soft drinks, and that time was Coca-Cola, of course, like Coca-Cola, all Coca-Cola brand. And the other one will sell beer, because people love to drink beer. It's very good. Paraguayans are very good to drink very cold beer and cold drink, all cold. We did not have ice, but we love ice. I don't know how we did. Every time I needed to go and buy ice to the neighbor or the charcoal for the wood stove or the herbs. My granny was selling the herbs for the mate tea. My auntie, she was selling apple in the street, home by home. 2 baskets, one with apple, the other with herbs. My other neighbor was my godfather, who unfortunately also passed away last year for COVID. He was working in ensemble newspapers. He was his job. He was very proud working in this newspaper company, como Diario El Popular. It was like the newspaper from the area. Other people were the butcher who had more incomes. My auntie, who was living a little bit further, she got a furniture company. So she was doing bed, all like carpenter work.
Carpentry work.
Carpentry work, yes. They got this company for until just 7 years ago, because now they have a new like agreement with China, and everything comes from China now, and they obviously they couldn't keep going with their own produce, because people especially in developed country, they prioritize the prices and not the quality.
Soy un vagabundo que rueda este mundo.
Was Chile, like the culture in Chile and life there, very different from Paraguay?
Very different. In my case, I found my childhood a little bit hard, because Chilean kids were so rude to me, asking me many things about my indigenous roots, and they didn't understand what an indigenous is. Like, I was with my hair, like, I got hair everywhere. I was kid. I didn't wax my legs. I was a young kid, and so they always were like kind of joking on it, and I needed to take them very savage and wild and indigenous hard to punch them in the face on time, because it was too much. I needed to be strong. Well, living without my mom, living with my dad, and then being in Chile, that was a hard part. And Chilean kids also, they didn't respect much. They were very unrespectful, and
a bit prejudiced by the sounds of it.
Yes. Asking me in my idiom Guarani very rude words in Spanish that I didn't even know. So that caused me problem with the authorities in the school, because I didn't know what I was telling. And then I was understanding more. It was hard, but then I never make a friend in the school at that time. I don't have friends from that time. But in the other stage of my life, I did have fun in the school, in the secondary school. And then I was a teenager. I was changing to be a woman, like proper woman, like more mature, and I really, really hold all this like sadness with exercise. Always. Doesn't matter what the problem was, exercise was my savior. So if with all this pressure of being without your mom, living in a country, like the kids were like rude or asking things that I didn't wanted to hear, the only that saved me was doing exercise. Team sport. So I play soccer until today. At that time, I played basketball. So I was playing in the pausa from the school, all the sport that was in the school. And then outside in the afternoon, I was training for basketball as well. And then I changed to soccer with my sister, which I still playing soccer today. I'm 37. My sister is 30, and she's playing in Austria. She's playing professional soccer, and her son is professional, hired recently by the Red Bull.
And when you were getting toward the end of high school, did you have any sort of idea or plan of what you wanted to do when you finished?
Yes, in the school I was lucky. My school was a good school that I learned something technique before I started the university. So before I started university, my family is a world class, and my dad couldn't pay me the university. Also the school not. So I was working in the school, in the senior school, selling bread in the morning for the breakfast, and selling like this ice cream, but homemade ice cream from the fruits of the season. Chile also got many cherries and blueberries, so I went to the market and I bought the very bad one, like the one they are going to drop, and asking, hey, could you please give me them, or selling me what you are not going to use? And they give to me, and then I put them in a bag, mixed with water, a little bit of sugar in a bag, plastic bag, and then selling the other day in the school in a polystyrene box that they can keep cold for the first like pausa. Because from the first pausa, I went like 8 a.m. to 10:30. So I was selling the bread and this. So with this money, I always had incomes. I did not live with my dad anymore at that time. We moved with my sister. We were 13, 15, 17, and we did this just working and paying the school and doing exercise, being responsible like mom teach us. Everyone look after everyone. And yeah, we were very lucky having beautiful people around us, helping us always. And my mom always taught us how to work, and how to cook and how to do things. We never we need someone or rely on someone that they do things for us. So we were very lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, so you were actually quite self-reliant and...
Yes, yeah, always. So I started selling bread, ham and cheese, like ham or cheese, because you buy or ham or cheese. The ice cream and then chocolates, like for just to have when you are studying, like something to eat. And then I started working in one of the big market there. And my 14th was selling socks and drinks and computer. And then I escalate my levels. And with that money, I reinvest, and I was selling in the school, and I have saving to bring my mom back to us, because my mom wasn't with us.
Okay.
And we did it. And that was the most beautiful day we could have in our teenager time, having mom back in Chile. She never been in Chile. She was dreaming. She was always singing this song, Si vas para Chile. If you go to Chile, I please you to pass through this little home near the mountain, because Chile had a mountain. Mm-hmm. She loved this song. She always was singing.
And so what did you end up doing after you'd finished school? Did you go to university?
No, because I didn't have the resource. Mm-hmm. But I did have is a title, business administration. I studied for 2 years in the school. Mm-hmm. With this, I went to a big company, like the bus company in Santiago, and then I did my practice. With this practice, I applied to a job. I finished the practice, and I went to Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I was loving Mexico. And I said, all this year, the time I was working in the school, when I finished my practice, I have the saving, and I went to Mexico. And I went to Mexico, met people, and this beautiful family hosted me. And I stayed for 1 year. Mm-hmm. And I was loving the food. I learned a lot of how to make tacos, because the family who I was living there, they used to, they have a taco shop in the street.
Oh, wow.
And yes, it was so challenging. Plus, I never eat chili before. At that time, I didn't have spicy. I didn't like spicy. My gosh, I needed to learn how to eat spicy. I cried with my first jalapeno. Yes, I cried with my first jalapeno. After school, came back to pick my mom from Paraguay. She was a little bit sick. Come back to Chile, and I started working in a bank. And this bank gave me the opportunity to go to the university for a short degree of international trade and business, because I was loving all about globalization and being with other people and other cultures. And I learned how to import and export goods, and I become a very good professional, starting for a very, very basic job. And before I came here, I reached my level of career that I wanted. I was traveling from Europe with the job. I earned tickets. I earned a lot of benefits with it. This was a beautiful career until I came here in Tasmania, and I worked 8 years, like long time, in Chile. So when I came here, I wanted to work in the office as well, but I think I didn't fix with the culture of how people work here. I feel something was missing. My English maybe wasn't that good. Yeah. I was trying hard to work in this. I love logistics. Logistics is, I think, a very hard work, because it's always urgent, and people needs everything. People want everything urgent, and you need to move container. You need to talk to people everywhere. You need to solve problems. Tasmania is very difficult because they got biosecurity. It's a word that I really love. And I just have this aside because I quit this to start my own business with food, my other passion and love.
Soy un vagabundo.
What were the circumstances about you coming to Australia? How did that all happen?
I come to Australia because I met an Australian in Chile when I was working. My best German friend was a friend of my today husband, and they were playing tennis, and my friend told me one day, hey, I got this ticket for like fall festival, Lollapalooza in Chile. And I said, what is this? Like a wood festival? Okay, let's go. And I went with my mate tea and myself, with another friend, and a German girlfriend, obviously. Oh, she's never gonna to enter with this container of water and her mate tea. This guy's going to drop all her things like she was taking for years. So what a terrible thing. And I once entering in the door of the festival, and the guys look at me and say, what is inside? And I show them the herbs, the lemon, the ice. They say, would you like some? Please try. This is my medicine. So please let me enter. And they let me enter with my mate, with my thermo with cold water and my mate. And Tim was very proud of it. Like my husband, he said, oh my God, you surprised me. You got mate. I love mate. He was just driving from Santiago to Mendoza to buy mate, to drink Argentina mate. Yerba mate, the tea. So I met them this day, and we were friends for a year. And then we started dating. And then he told me, look, I need to go back to Australia, and I need to do my stuff. We like to give a try, and if you don't like, you can come back. Let's see how we go. And yes, we manage, like we have fun, we love each other. Sometimes it's hard. Culturally, it's hard to date in Australia because we South American Latinos are more invasive. We need more attention. We need more calls. We need more cuddles.
When you first came to Australia, where did you first live?
I was living in Canberra, and I was working there. No, I was studying English. So I went. It was very hard for me the first 3 months because I didn't have working visa. My husband was working, and I did not speak English. I speak a little bit with logistic, but I knew logistic word, no social word. I knew about documents, but I didn't know about vocabulary like for day vocabulary, normal, ordinary, in the street. And I went every day walking around to see the kangaroos and learning English. I did not talk to any Latinos for 1 year until I met someone in the beginning. And then we when I finished the course, I did met her again. But just to learn English, not properly. Sorry, I didn't learn much. And kind of forgetting because I've been talking too much in Spanish lately. And I said, okay, I was in home. I never did that. I was always working from 9 a.m., 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, all my life, working. So it was so hard for me to handle this. It was giving me depression, and supposedly I should be more happy than ever to be in Australia, because Australia was a dream before Germany. I wanted to know Australia and Germany because I love both culture and people from this country, like the relaxed culture. And I said being here was my dream, but it was so hard. And my husband friend were always more from his work. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about these themes that I didn't understand, plus in English, less understand. So I started going for dancing, social dancing, salsa, and started meeting other people from other cultures. And I met people there, and I was desperate one day when they gave me the visa to work. I went to the coffee shop in Canberra. I asked this guy, hey, how are you? I just finished my English course. Look, this is my document. And I really love this coffee shop. can I work here? And then, look, I know how to cook and I know how to do this. Like, he told me, what's your name? Sorry, Patricia. This guy went from Turkey. And he told me, I don't need people to work because I got full the shop. And I was having a big hope this guy is going to give me work. It's a place I love to eat, have my coffee and my first salsa roll from Australia and my first spinach roll. And he told me, but please, I will pay me very little, doesn't matter. Please, I want to work. I really want to work. I'm getting sick. I'm getting crazy. I need to throw away this energy, please. And then he told me he was going to think about. And then he called me the next day. I said, let's give you a trial if we like each other. Because I need to like you and you need to like me. So, and also the people I work with. Okay. And I went to work with him. And it was hard because it was at the university. So the thing about Asian learning English, asking me for coffee or salsa roll, I couldn't understand myself. Think about them, I couldn't understand anything. But slowly with passion, every day working, every day learning English, every day putting attention in new words, I started challenging myself and started working the front coffee. And then I was working very close to the chef, and it's like he was sending me to do the hard work, and I was very fast. Actually, he called me. When I left, he called me, told me he could never find someone that fast as I do the thing, very fast. And
Soy un vagabundo.
And what was the reason for coming to Tasmania?
Because my parents-in-law lived here, and when we were landing, and I saw this beautiful, colorful, green island, like my little Asuncion, Paraguay, and I said, oh my God, Tim, what are we doing in Canberra? That's sweetie, because I don't have any job there. We need to work in Canberra. But why you don't find a job? Please, because I really want to live here. I will stay here, and then you go back to Canberra. I will live with your dad. No, we were joking. Please. And then he went and he checked in some job opportunity, and he got a very good job. We moved here. And this is how we started our life in this beautiful island that I love every day.
And so tell me about how you started this food business that you've got, doing the food van.
That this is when I started working. Right here, I started working in logistics, and I feel I didn't connect with my career and how is the work philosophy here. It's nothing to do with Latin America. We are competitive. We are structure. We follow we got system. We need to work with them, and here it's pretty much all manual. I feel it's a little bit background, and for my experience, people don't take me wrong, because it was my experience, that the way I feel. And then I work in this company, two logistics company, big ones, before COVID in one, and then with COVID, obviously, Tasmanian exportation dropped to zero. No flight, no export, not seafood. China was fighting with Australia at that time with all this, and I lost my job because they didn't need me. I was doing this only export or helping with the export, and then I moved to other companies. This company, I love it, and I have beautiful time with my partners, my colleagues. I think for one point I failed because my English wasn't enough. Or second point is I didn't go well trained, because in Australia they don't train you. They just put you in the office and there is the job you need to do and you need to work out. And then it's when I broke, and I said, I don't want to work here anymore. I just don't feel that happy anymore. And I said to my okay, boss, thank you for everything. And I said I will turn to other career, and then also we're chasing a new person. So I was thinking it's just a time to match this. And I said, okay, thank you for everything, bye. And my own boss said me, oh, look, this is a food truck for sale, my manager. Look, Patrick, this is a food truck for sale. Look, have a look. And I saw the food truck. I saw the price. I told my husband, in the morning, I'm going to Triabunna. Triabunna? Yes, I'm going to buy a food truck. What? Like Triabunna? You know what is Triabunna? It sounds like clothes. And then it's not close. And I Google it. Oh, true. And it's funny that Pancho also come from Triabunna, my dog. I love you, Triabunna. You give me good things. Yes, and I bought the food truck and sanded it all, the aluminum, I cleaned it all, and it looked perfect for the inspection. And it took me like 4 months to repair it, to clean it, to take all the fat, everything. And I did the business dream of my mom, the empanadas. And I started cooking empanadas, and I never did this scale of selling. I always cook empanadas for my family, friends. But then cooking empanadas in this massive amount, one by one, like with my pastry, like with the pastry by hand. Oof, I was so fit. The owner in the corner at the Lindisfarne Service Center. When are you going to come? Come on, Patricia. Maybe other one will take it. It's like, okay, I'm feeling the pressure. Okay, it's the day. I need to open. I was just standing. And then I said, okay, I want to open. And I was cooking. And my husband, what if you don't sell all you are cooking? You are cooking too much. Australian realistic, put you on earth, like put you just on earth. And I told him, what about if you don't say anything and just help me and start doing empanadas, because I'm going to sell everything. I feel it in my stomach. I feel it, the butterfly moving of adrenaline, of happiness. It's going to happen. I feel it. I so loud in 1.5 hours. I was so tired. I was so loud I cooked for 2 days. I so loud in 1.5 hours. People really love it. And yeah, with the time, obviously, every business needs to change and find the direction. So this year, after realizing my dream, after a year of a lot of training, I'm ready to go for big ones, big events with the same quality and the same love. This is how I end up with my business.
Soy un vagabundo.
Can you maybe describe or explain a little of what might be a typical kind of Paraguayan food?
If you go to Paraguay, don't be scared about people. That is very kind, and they will love you like from 1 second to other. Just get it with your heart, and the first thing you are going to have is a chipa at the airport. When you arrive, have a chipa, and then go to this market and have all the food, a little bit of a little. Bori, mandio chiruru, sopa wasu, chipa wasu, these pies from Paraguay. And of course, overall, have a street burger and lomito, and have a street hot dog, and have a street food in the night after 10.
What's special or particular about a Paraguayan hot dog, for example?
Paraguayan hot dog is, first of all, I'm not sure if in Uruguay, but we call Paraguayan hot dog panchos. The Chilean, they call completo. They got all names, but the hot dog are just like, it's simple. Tomato and lettuce and the hot dog. This is so simple, but special, for the one who want to try like a street close food from home. But you will have this or the sandwich, the rolls, like the lomitos. This is bread with like kind of kebab inside. You got like 20 sauce in the shop you can put by your own. But sometimes you want to put too much and you won't be able to open your mouth. For lunch, have a nice asado with empanadas. You will eat empanadas everywhere. For lunch, for breakfast, for dinners. It's everywhere. In the whole country.
Soy un vagabundo que rueda este mundo.